Today I fucked up by buying my man an Xbox. He's been playing Fallout 4 all night for nearly a week. My partner is a hardworking, wonderful family man. He came from the Philippines and has grinded to make a home for him, his son, and me. He never spends money on himself. So I decided to take the plunge and buy him an Xbox. He had bought his son PlayStations before, and apparently he had played them. But finding time was difficult for him, and he's very respectful in not taking over his son's things. So for as long as I've known him, he's only ever played pool on his phone for half an hour or so before bed to unwind. But I had an inkling that he might like a proper platform, and this Xbox was going for an amazing price. So we booked a week off for an early birthday break, and I gave him the Xbox. Needless to say, he's played nonstop for days, for entire nights even. He absolutely flipping loves it. But I'm kicking myself because he's addicted to Fallout 4. If I had been just a bit braver, I could have bought him a PC instead and we could have played Fallout 76 together. If only I'd known he'd love these kinds of games, but now I've made him a console gamer. Tilder, my partner loves his Xbox, and it makes him so happy. But I wish I'd bought him a PC instead so we could play together. Rip PC Master Race, but he deserves to be happy. Today I fucked up by trying to bang a goth baddie, and my wife found out. My 31 years male wife, 32-year female, and I are in a healthy and happy relationship. That said, we've been together since high school, so we both feel that we missed out a little by being each other's only sexual experiences. We've talked about this at length and decided a few years ago that we're okay with having a few hall passes in our relationship, since we very much intend to stay together the rest of our lives and don't want any resentment over missed possibilities. Plus, it's pretty rare that we could even find such an opportunity, as it's a little hard to find hookups when you're in a committed marriage and don't go out much. We even gave each other advance approval in case a situation arises, so long as we're safe about it and tell each other immediately afterward. We've both used 1 HP, each with someone we knew well enough but would never see again, and no issues came out of it. In fact, it's only made us more secure in our relationship and how much we genuinely appreciate being with each other. Recently, I had to travel to London for work. I don't normally get to travel for work, so I decided to make a trip out of it and spend a few extra days of my own time in the city after the project was done. My wife couldn't join because she didn't have any vacation time left, but was very supportive of me taking some time to explore, since I've never been to London and she has. Being cheap and being a pretty outgoing guy when I'm so inclined, I decided to stay in a hostel. I was interested in meeting other travelers since I didn't know anyone in the city and loved being sociable with new people. I chatted with several of the people staying there, and in particular a very attractive French girl, mid-20s, who dressed super goth. For context, I love the goth girl look. I've been sucked into the goth GF propaganda online, much to the annoyance of my wife. It isn't her style, but she has been nice enough to cater to me by putting on a sexy goth outfit on occasion, since she knows it's a huge fantasy of mine. Still, I pester her constantly to be more goth because I enjoy it so much. Anyway, I ended up spending a little bit of time with goth French baddie. We both went to the hostel's happy hour event and hit it off there. I found out that she was recently single and was in London for an art show. It turned out we were both into emo music, and we talked about our favorite bands. I had the thought that she was acting a bit flirty towards me, but didn't think too much of it until I later found myself sharing a sink with her in the hostel bathroom. The hostel was co-ed, so each floor had a small shared bathroom with a communal sink and a door that was meant to be kept open, but which people frequently closed for the sake of having more privacy than just a stall to shower in. So I'm brushing my teeth while chatting up the real-life version of Shadowheart, who, mind you, is wearing an extremely low-cut top when she suddenly closes the bathroom door behind us. In my mind, my wildest fantasy is about to come true. It's even more exciting because of the adrenaline rush of being in a semi-public setting and a girl being so into me that she would make such a bold move. I can't believe this is actually happening to me. I instantly get hard. Then she turns around and asks, "Are you interested in learning about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?" She had me cornered for 10 minutes trying to talk me into salvation, while I grew increasingly despondent and immensely disappointed. With the whiplash of going from what could have been one of the crowning moments of my life to pure and utter dejection. When I told my wife this story, she laughed for a solid hour. She said it's karma for annoying her about wanting a goth GF. TLDR, life dream was to bang a hot goth girl. Thought I was getting the opportunity, but got cock-blocked by Jesus Christ. God is real, and he hates me. Today, I f***ed up by getting my friend fired. My friend and I have this weird tradition where if we spot each other in a store or somewhere, we'll yell, "Ooh." We both know how to make realistic cow sounds, and it's hilarious seeing the looks on people's faces. He got a job at Sonic, didn't tell me yet. I look up and see my friend on the microphone, so I push the button and moo at him. We were sitting in the booth right next to this rather large woman with the tallest ice cream cone I'd ever seen, and she was really going to town on that thing. Then I hear moo coming from the speaker next to me. He belts out a couple more moos before I can push the button and tell him he's got the wrong booth. He had been loudly mooing at the fat lady with the giant ice cream. She was furious. She demanded to speak to the manager. He came out, and with tears in her eyes, she shouted, "He's making fun of me because I'm fat and eating ice cream." Needless to say, my friend no longer works at Sonic. TDAR accidentally got my friend fired for mooing at a customer. Today, I fucked up and lost my best friend of over 11 years. Well, not today exactly. It was actually 11 months ago now, but boy howdy is it hitting me hard lately. We used to talk almost every day, voice calls for the entire evening, and playing games until the wee hours of the morning. We met back in 2012, playing World of Warcraft, and basically lived out our 20s as best friends. I don't know that I trusted any non-family member as much as I trust that guy. I still see him as a little brother. This only amounts to making it hurt all the more due to the loss. We'll call him C. C, actually, back in 2013, introduced me to my now wife, D. At one point they had a thing, but it didn't work out. D and I continued talking for years. When back in 2017, we decided to actually seriously date and got married in 2018. See, we were going to play Baldur's Gate 3 last year, and C created a character that had D's name. This was a bit of a shock to me and made me feel uncomfortable. I didn't really know how to handle the situation, so I tried to ask him about it. He explained that the character had been a character he used many times in D&D campaigns, and that the name was actually quite common and even recommended in various lists of names for that race. I was a total jerk, didn't listen, and immediately got defensive. He as well got defensive, but I feel like his defensiveness was infinitely more reasonable. This resulted in roughly a 2 to 3 hour argument. One of the final things he said to me, "We can't be friends if you don't think I trust you and your wife." To which, in my complete and total asshat nature, said, "I don't know how you regard us. That's up to you." I initially thought this entire exchange would be written off, and it wasn't until days later I realized that I had done something highly disrespectful, rude, and hurtful. Those words have since been burned into my head. 11 months go by. I've tried to make new gaming buddies, but it just hasn't been the same. C and I liked basically all the same genres, save for a few. We were almost always ready and excited to play the same games. We had the same humor and laughed at almost all the same things. Haven't found that connection again. Fairly certain it's cause we partially grew up together. When we first met, C was still in high school. Now he's graduated college and we're both working full-time jobs. And it just sucks. I ruined such a critical and important friendship in my life because I wanted to be a pompous asshat, excuse the language. I've found myself thinking about C a lot these last few weeks, as we're nearing a year since we last spoke. I'm pretty sure he's blocked me on almost every platform. I tried to reach out via Discord, since it still shows us as friends there. I tried to apologize, but I can only assume he hasn't read it. Or maybe he hasn't want to read it, to be fair. As we near the anniversary of losing my best friend, I can't help but find depression sinking in and reminiscing about the good times. And at the end of it all, I really just wish I could apologize to him. I could understand not being friends again. I could understand not even talking again. But dang, I wish I could just tell C how sorry I am. I really needed to get this off my chest, as it has been breaking me, especially these last 2 weeks, especially since last week was his birthday. I appreciate all of your time. Please be good to your friends, especially if they've been good to you. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Hear them out. Trust them. Give them your faith. It's so hard to replace quality friendships as an adult, especially in today's geopolitical climate. Today I f***ed up by giving myself a first-degree burn in the shower. This story really demonstrates how much of an idiot I actually am. And just when in my life I thought I peaked. I always one-up myself. Last night, I followed my routine as I always after work. Get home, eat, shower, and then relax. I'm a semi-major germaphobe, so I generally take hot showers to make myself feel like I've killed every germ that could exist on my body. I thought I took a shower at my normal temperature of it's not scorching hot, but it's lukewarm hot. It wasn't until an hour later while laying in bed and doom scrolling, I went, my face is kinda hot to the touch. So of course I go look at my face and it's all red, to the point I was questioning if I was having an allergic reaction to something I didn't know I was allergic to. Usually after a hot shower, it's not uncommon for the heat to cause my face to be a little red, and it looked just like that. Expect it's usually gone within 10 minutes. And here it was an hour later, causing me to have a burning sensation. After a few hours of talking to friends and family, the conclusion was I gave myself a first-degree burn. Our water temp goes up to 120 F, and a first-degree burn happens in the range of 110 F and 150 F. I never thought I was white enough to get a sunburn without the sun, but here I am with my cold compresses and aloe. It'll be a long few days of misery. TLDR. Today, I fucked up by taking a hot shower, to the point it caused a first-degree burn on my face, and now I gave myself a self-inflicted sunburn without using the sun. Today, I fucked up by suggesting a U.S. senator should play kickball. Last year, I organized a kickball team for a rec league here in D.C. and invited a bunch of friends and their friends. We were shooting the shit before the game, and I was getting to know a friend of a friend whom I'd only met once before. It turned out she worked on Capitol Hill, as many Washingtonians do. Specifically, she was a staffer for Senator Tammy Duckworth. Like most Americans, I don't know all 100 senators by name, but her name rang a bell and conjured an image for me of a tough but progressive Midwesterner woman. Turns out I may have been thinking of Tammy Baldwin. So I asked, how is it working for Tammy Duckworth? And she said, it's great. And I said, I'd bet she'd kick ass at kickball. Tammy Duckworth lost her legs in Iraq. She looked shocked and gave me a nod. A few minutes later, I figured it out, and we shared a laugh. I saw her again at a party a few days ago and was reminded of this. TLDR, I suggested a double amputee should play kickball. Today, I fucked up by making a joke that cost me my best friend. I, 18 years male, and my friend, 18 years male, used to make edgy jokes constantly, pushing the boundaries and making fun of each other. We were honestly really good friends, and he was someone I could lean on and hang out with to forget about whatever was stressing me out at home or just regular school life. We'd get on Discord with the rest of our friend group, play games or Roblox, which was a highlight of my high school life. We graduated high school around the end of last year, and a teacher close to both of us had unfortunately passed away in a terrible accident, which resulted in us becoming closer as friends. Despite not seeing each other for almost half a year, we kept in contact, spamming each other with memes, and occasionally making fun of each other as we usually did. However, I started taking the jokes personally, unlike when we were in person. About a month ago, clouded with pent-up rage, I made a joke about a topic sensitive to him, weaponized it at him. This caused him to send paragraphs of texts explaining how he felt uncomfortable and clearly stating that if this joke were made in a context where others could see or hear it, it could result in him losing the support of his family and other friends. I apologized and realized my mistake. I genuinely felt sorry and thought we had moved past it because he said it was fine. We met up in person at our mutual friend's birthday party, and things seemed normal. We were talking like we did in high school. But now that I think about it, he looked uncomfortable around me, and our conversations were pretty lackluster. It's been half a week since I saw him, and he messaged me saying the joke I made has been weighing on him the past month and has taken a toll on his health. Seeing me in person made him feel repulsed, and he no longer wants to be my friend. He blocked me. I'm genuinely broken. Thank you if you made it this far and read my story. I hope you all have a good day. TLDR. I made a joke towards my friend, which resulted in him being repulsed by me. Today I fucked up by trying to make small talk with a coworker. Obligatory wasn't actually today. Several years ago, I worked in an office building that had a janitor named Hugo. Hugo was an extremely kind old man that didn't speak much English, but had the warmest, kindliest demeanor. I'm often awkward with people I don't know, so combined with the language barrier, he and I never really talked much. One week, I noticed Hugo wasn't around. My workspace trash was piling up, and I saw other maintenance staff doing the tasks he normally did. Logically, I assumed Hugo had either gone to visit family or was on vacation. The following week, Hugo was back. I saw more people talking to him than normal, which I should have thought more about, but didn't like an idiot. Eventually, he made his standard rounds and came through my workspace. Feeling confident and social that day, I went up to him and said, "Hey Hugo, it's good to see you. How was your vacation?" He didn't seem to understand the question. What? Me? How was your vacation? Hugo stared at me for a moment, blinked away tears, and said, "My wife died." I stood there, waited for the earth to swallow me and apologized as much as possible, but the damage was done. He said, "It's okay, I'm fine." Hugo was not fine. By the time he left my workspace, I could see he was full on crying. I felt awful, but also was terrified to talk more to him at the risk of doing more damage. He and I worked together for 2 more years before I switched jobs. The whole time, all of our interactions were unbelievably awkward and weird. TLDR tried to be friendly to a coworker that didn't speak much English. Ended up opening fresh wounds for a kindly old man that just lost his wife.